تحية مجددة لكم مشاهدينا الكرام، عدنا لكم بعد هذا الفاصل القصير هنا على الهواء مباشرة، ونقلنا الحي والمباشر لوقاع هذا المؤتمر العالمي لسباقات الخيول العربية الأصيلة، الذي طبعا يقام مشاهدينا الكرام تحت رعاية مهرجان سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد آل نهيان، تحت هذه المظلة العظيمة الخاصة بسباقات الخيول العربية الأصيلة. الجلسة الثانية الخاصة بالسباقات وأيضا المدربين، عدد من نجوم المدربين المتواجدين هنا في قاعة هذا المسرح مشاهدينا الكرام سوف يشاركون الحضور والمتابعين خلف الشاشات عن خبراتهم وما يمكن أن يطوروا من ناحية التدريبية. إلى زميل داراك تومسون. تيوتومو.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live in the Four Seasons Hotel here in Marrakesh. Welcome wherever you're watching around the world. We're live on Yas TV. We're also live on the Sheikh Mansoor Festival feed. So hello, wherever you are in the world. It's now coming up to 1:45 in the afternoon here in Marrakesh, in Morocco, in Africa. The first session about the breeding was absolutely incredible. A lot of people are still discussing the breeding points that came up. But now what about the racing and training of purebred Arabians? We've assembled some of the top brains from the world of purebred Arabian racing right behind me. And I'm very pleased to say that one of our top commentators, who looks after all the commentary on the purebred Arabian racing, is going to be the moderator. Can we give him a big round of applause? He's from the United Kingdom. He's called Gary Capewell. Over to you, big fella.
Thank you, Tomo. Afternoon, everybody. I'll introduce my panellists first. I've got two trainers next to me from the UAE, Halal Al-Ahar. We train thoroughbreds and Arabians. Simon Hobson from America, who has just started training Arabians. We'll be learning more about that a little bit later on. Mohammed Al-Hashmi, who's the manager of the horse racing club in Oman, looks after all the Royal Cavalry of Oman's horses. Dr. Stefano Danieri, used to be still is a vet. He was a vet for RSL for many years and is now a general manager of the Global United Veterinary Services. And next to him we have Mr. Francis Motoban, who's the president of Toulouse Race Course, which stages the most races for purebred Arabians, or the race course which stages the most races for purebred Arabians in France. And next time we have another vet, Dr. Sefian Alami, who was a military vet here in Morocco quite some time ago. Again, we'll probably discuss that a little bit later on, but he's now based at Al Arif Stables in Abu Dhabi with an endurance yard there. And next to him we have from Morocco, Zakaria Semlali, who's an owner and breeder here in this country and has been so for the last 5 years or so. I'm going to begin with the trainers. We'll get on to the veterinary side of things a little bit later on. I'll begin with Hassan, Halal, I should say, who's sat next to me. You train thoroughbreds and Arabians in the UK. Again, we'll start with just the basic differences in perhaps how you train, with just the training methods. Headsets are the ready, because I believe you're going to answer in Arabic. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
السلام عليكم. أول شيء نرحب بجميع الحضور ونستغل هذه الفرصة لشكر سيدي سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد والسيدة لارا صوايا على هذا التنظيم الرائع للمؤتمر الثامن. بالنسبة للسؤال، نعم، دربت الخيل العربية وابتديت هذا الموسم في خيول الثربرد، ولاحظت أن في بعض الفروقات يعني بسيطة ما بين الحصان العربي والثرب والمهجن من ناحية التدريب. مسيرتي كمدرب ليست طويلة، يعني من تقريبا 4 سنوات فقط لا أكثر، وأتشرف بوجودي على هذا المنبر، ولا يعني بالنسبة للمدربين الكبار اللي موجودين هنا أنا لا أعتبر لا شيء مقارنة فيهم، وهذا شرف لي في تواجدي هذا المكان.
You obviously trained some very good purebred Arabians though back home. I suppose perhaps the most high-profile one would be a horse called Sniper de Monlau. He ran in the Kayana Classic, which he finished, was he third, I think, in the Kayana Classic, or fourth perhaps, third he was. But the horse ran in round 1 of the Al Maktoum Challenge, which is one of the races that leads up to that big race. It's fair to say he's got a little bit of a mind of his own, this horse. He ran off at the bend, or he almost pulled himself up, gave away sort of about 40 or 50 lengths before running on again, and he wasn't actually beaten that far. How do you try and channel his sort of energies? Because obviously, or does he do anything like that at home? How do you go about training him on a day-to-day basis?
سنايبر ديمولو طبعا من أفضل الخيل اللي مرت علي في هذه مسيرتي القصيرة في التدريب، وهو من إنتاج الحبوبة ماريانج. اشترينا الحصان عمره 3 سنوات، وبدينا فيه أول سباق في أبو ظبي ليستد ريس. كان السباق لأن في التمارين كان يعطي مؤشرات قوية جدا، فما ابتدينا معه أبدا في سباقات المبتدئة ولا الهانديكاب، أخذنا على طول على سباقات كبيرة. طبعا صادفتنا مشكلة أن الحصان دائما هانجينج أوت في السباقات، ولكن فينش الحصان فينش قوي يعني، وحقق انتصارات في التربل كراون وسباقات جروب 1 هذه السنة الحمد لله، يعني حقق مراكز جيدة في كحيلة كلاسيك وكأس رئيس الدولة وسيف أمير دولة قطر. طبعا الحصان لسه اعتبره جرين بيبي، وإن شاء الله راح يؤدي أكيد في الموسم القادم راح يؤدي أفضل من السباقات اللي طافت. المشكلة الحصان هي في عقليته لا أكثر، يعني عملنا كل اللازم عشان نعرف مشكلة الحصان ليش هو دائما هانجينج أوت. طلع الحصان ما عنده أي مشكلة أبدا، اللهم المشكلة في عقليته يعني لا أكثر. وحاولنا بالمعدات مثلا بالرينج بت وكذا وفي التمارين ان نعلمه ان الحصان نحاول ان نخليه مع المجموعة. هذا بالنسبة للسنايبر.
And obviously he's probably the best horse that you have. You have quite a lot of young horses.
Yes.
Obviously, there's the UAE season. We've had a debate about the length of that before. We'll probably not better get onto that just yet. We'll leave that for another time, perhaps. But in terms of perhaps the race planning in the UAE, do you think that there may need to be some more sort of races for unraced horses? I know, obviously, again, we'll come on to that, I'm sure, at another point with the people involved. But they can only do so much. But obviously, if the horses are there, you need to find races for them.
Yes, of course. If you see, there is the breeders here in UAE. Okay, how many race horse they breed every year? I can give you just one breeder. He's the leader there, but he's not the one. There is many. Called Nabuda. He breed. I think, my opinion, he breed above 70 or 80 horse yearling every year. Where they will go? These horses, they should go to, first of all, they go to the maidens. But how many maidens in UAE? There is not enough races for those horses. My opinion, to give more chance for that horses, to help, especially to help the small breeders and small owners, to give them more chance to stay in the races. I have in my in the stable, I have a lot of colors. They already leave them their ears because they know get the benefit from the races, what they want. How to keep that owners or breeders to keep breeding or to keep race them horses or to bring horses from outside by the races, right? If you see, for example, last season, the last meeting in Al Ain race course, the maiden race was above 200. The entry, only the entry.
Yeah.
It means still above 500 horses still in maiden. Even if they raced already, but they're still in maiden. So we'll take that 500 from the last season for the new season and plus the new horses, right? Many trainers here, they already start training them yearling, and they have I think above of every trainer have above of 30, let's say, only yearling. They need races.
We'll come back to that in a little while. From one country to perhaps where there is a massive amount of horses, to perhaps where there might be, or it's on the increase again. But Simon, in the US, obviously, well, first of all, let's talk about yourself. First of all, obviously, last year was your first year training the purebred Arabians, but before that, you'd been to Italy, you've ridden as a jockey, you've trained in France, and obviously trained thoroughbreds, flat horses and jumps horses in America. Just tell us a little bit about your background first before we get on to how you're finding the purebred Arabians.
Well, originally I was a jockey for a few years, riding in Italy and France, like you said, and I got the opportunity to go to the States about 25 years ago, and we started riding over there, and then got involved with training thoroughbred horses. And a couple of years ago, I met some people who were involved in the Arabian world, and got really interested in it, and they offered me a position to train their horses, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So you've been, as I said, this was your first year training the purebred Arabians this year in America. You had a few winners. Obviously, just sort of how many horses do you have as well?
We have about 15 in training right now. 6 or 7 of them are seasoned horses that have been racing the last couple of seasons, and then we have a lot of young ones coming along that are currently going to Delaware Park racetrack, and they'll hopefully be having their first starts up there.
And you were telling me last night that the prize money is very good in America for the races that you have out there. You just need more horses to be running in them.
I think there's a massive opportunity for it. I really do. We have this wonderful meeting, like I just said, Delaware Park, 5-month meeting, exceptional prize money, and we have so many people working tirelessly behind the scenes, trying to push this and trying to encourage more people to get on board with it. And I feel like there is a huge chance to increase our numbers with owners, trainers and jockeys and breeders. I know we've bred a lot more horses this year in the state. The last couple of years we've had more horses on the ground, and I do feel like we need to communicate a little bit more with the thoroughbred people. I think they're oblivious to what we do, and I think a lot of us are oblivious to what they do, and considering we race at the same racetracks all the time, I really feel like a little bit more communication and education would really benefit us.
And obviously, a subject that is often brought up about American racing is the use of medication, which you're allowed to use for the original races, and you can with Arabians as well, but you don't use it on your horses unless they have come from you having previously used it. Very
rarely. Thankfully, very thankfully, the medication rules in the States are changing rapidly, and so it's becoming more of an even playing field. And being from England originally, involved with the horse racing, it was just something we never did. And so I tried to steer away from that. Like you said, if I have a horse that has come to me and it's been racing on Lasix, then maybe I will leave the horse on Lasix. But very, very unusual for me to put a horse on medication. But at the same time, we do turn our horses out in the paddocks a lot. And, they spend a lot of time outside, which I think really helps a horse, obviously, being opposed to being stuck in a box, all the time. So I feel like it's very beneficial, that.
And as you say, you were saying, you obviously train at the track. The moment you're moving your horses, though, obviously from Texas to Delaware, what kind of challenges does that sort of involve in terms of... Because obviously in America as well, quite a lot of the race courses are very well spaced out. You have to do a lot of travelling.
Yeah, we got a 1,500-mile trip to move our horses from Texas to Delaware, but, really the shipping companies provide a fantastic trip up there, and they settle in very, very well. And again, we do have horses at the track. I feel like a lot of the time we stable our horses at the track for convenience, because obviously the racing is there. But again, we have also horses on the farm that we rotate them. We turn them out in the paddock, especially after they've raced. Just give them a few days downtime. I feel like the horses I train, once they're fit, and they seem to maintain their fitness basically on their own. We train them, but. So it's good for them to rotate and gives them time out in the fields, etc.
And obviously, as I was saying, you've come from the thoroughbred side of things into the Arabian world. How have you had to sort of change perhaps your training methods, how you train horses on a day-to-day basis? Obviously, in America, usually with the thoroughbred side of things, the race is all about the start, isn't it? It's all about that gate speed, getting out of the gate, getting into a rhythm, etc. But you have a different view in terms of how that is for the Arabians.
Well, obviously, when the gate opens, we want our horses to get into gear and get motoring. But I have found with the horses that I train, a lot of them, when the gates open, I like my jockeys just to leave them alone for 100 yards. Let them find their feet, and I feel like once they find their feet and they take hold of the bridle, they feel a lot more comfortable. I really don't like to see my jockeys hustling the horses out of the gate early on in a race. Just the ones I train in particular, I don't think are suited to that. But I like them to relax and settle and then get on the bridle and get into the race that way.
And in terms of, with regards to the training, in terms of the feed and things like that you give them, you said there's not very much difference in terms of how you've gone from the thoroughbred to Arabians. It's pretty much the same, just a little bit smaller portions.
Yeah, basically I find that, although I do have some Arabians that eat more than the thoroughbreds did, but for the most part they probably eat a tiny little bit less, yeah. But basically it's the same feed we use.
We'll come back to the American racing in a little while. I'd like to bring in Mohammed Al-Hashmi now from the manager of the Horse Racing Club for the Royal Cavalry of Oman. Mohammed, good to see you. Pleasure to have you here as always. Obviously you're based in Oman, but you obviously been based there for quite some time, but you obviously have horses all over Europe now as well. Why or when did you decide to do that? It was a good while ago now, and why?
First of all, I'm delighted to be here this afternoon again, and beside top experts in the field, in Arabian racing. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Sheikh Mansoor bin Zayed for his unlimited support for Arabian horses. Thank you, Miss Lara, for her support and her work. What she's doing is great, and I think things are starting changing, and he's giving up now and he's paying up. Going back to your question, if you go back to the history in Oman, Oman or the Gulf in general, horses was a part of our life. But when you go to the sport now and in industry, I think the most important thing, you try to go outside and compete really and know your standard of your horses.
And with regards to the racing in Oman, you have your season sort of lasts 5 or 6 months from October to April. How many races in total would you have for the Arabians?
Arabians until now is really low because comparing, we have only 20 meetings a year. I'm sure this is short and it needs to be increased, and we're working on that. But we run about 160 races per year, and include that as well. We do have thoroughbred, but that's what we.
And the overall number for the horse population is roughly how many? How many horses in total?
We do have this. I think last season we had about 700 over horses in training. Horses are increasing in Oman, and I think it's the same situation now. My colleague Lalawi was talking about, it's a lot of horses, but lack of races, and I think this is, it's really all the authority in this part of the world really to work and try to provide more really races for these horses, because I think the number is increasing. Taking on that, and I think I'll just give a small example. I'm not quite sure if there's any other countries that they do that, but in Oman, we found out that we are lack of races, especially for maiden horses and all this. What we did is we did something called preferences of entry. Which is, it's a reward the winner horses, which is the first 5, and then so on. So I think that it's rewarding the better horses and a better quality, and then really getting to a better quality races.
And with regards to the Royal Cavalry themselves, obviously you started breeding with your own mares not so long ago now. It's taken a while, but you're gradually sort of seeing the standard of the horses that you're breeding yourself getting better and better and better.
I think, our colleagues who was in the first session, they, well-spoken, everybody, and they provided a lot of ideas. And I think as a breeders as well, they try to find a solution of what their problems, some of them, they try to go outside. This is what the Royal Cavalry did, try to go to the, heart of Arabian horses as well, where their races are. We do have horses now based all over the world, but we breed a lot in England and France.
Obviously, yeah, we've been to the setup at Wargrave. It's a fantastic setup, and obviously, Jean-Pierre are recruiting horses from elsewhere as well. Obviously, I suppose Mansoor would probably be the best example of one of the horses that you've bred yourself. He won the UAE Derby very impressively. Just going through his stats, he's 9 from 9, and he's won those races by a cumulative 125 lengths, and he's actually in the UK, I think, at the moment, isn't he?
Yes, they decided to send him to UK for the summer, and maybe try to participate in one race or two. But I think we go back again the first session, and everybody was saying, it's a luck to get a horse like that. I think it's a God will. If God will, then you get something like that. It's an exception horse, and we hope that in the future we get some more on similar quality of horses.
And back to the racing in Oman, you were telling me that obviously away from the Royal Cavalry, there's actually a lot of other private owners, and again, the standard of horses that they are competing with is also getting better and better. Yes,
in Oman now, I think the races are the quality of racing is increasing, as what previously I said. Before it was a quantity, but now it's a quality, so we're into the quality. That's why, as an authority as well, Royal Horse Racing Club, we try to think how to improve. But I think now the owner and trainers and jockeys in Oman, I think the standards improved a lot. The trainer now, the quality of horses which are coming, they go all over to United States, to France, all over the world, to United Emirates, to Qatar, and buying a lot of horses. And I think now this is a challenge for the Royal Horse Racing Club to accommodate all these horses, and I think we have a lot of challenges to deal with.
And the race plan has obviously changed slightly in Oman as well, whereas in some countries you'd perhaps associate it with the race plan with the different bloodlines that are being bred into the Arabian world. Now we'd expect that with more speed the races will be getting shorter, but in Oman it's the opposite. They're getting longer, and the owners and breeders want them to be longer races.
This is another challenge, is because it depends on the owner and trainers where they're going to get their horses from. Horses which are coming from France and the other part of that, they need a longer distance. A lot of trainer and owner now, they go all along to United States and buy a lot of horses from United States. And as what we know, United States, they run a lot of shorter distance, and then shorter distance horses. So it's a combining, designing the races or conditioning the races which is suit both. So you can accommodate both short distance and the longer distance.
We'll come back to the Omani racing in a moment. I'd like to bring in the vet sat next to you now, Dr. Stefano Dinieri. Obviously, you've been involved in racing for quite some time. You were the vet at Al Sale for over 10 years, but obviously you're in your own veterinary service. I know you're the general manager of that now. But just tell us about what your day-to-day role was when you were at Al Sale. What was your sort of input in what was going on with the racing?
Okay, I need to say that when I joined Al-Asai in 2003, I was coming from a period where I was being a freelance practitioner in Europe. And it was a fantastic experience for one very simple reason. I had a chance to fulfill the dream of my life, to work and cooperate daily with a trainer to make the horse successful. And I think this is the main target for a horse, a vet that is willing to do equine sport medicine. What I mean, I think the role of the vet, either if he's a resident stable veterinarian or a freelance practitioner, is to try to support the trainer as much as he can to make the owner and the stable successful, which means to try to understand the horse in conjunction with the trainer. I used to say that the trainer is the most important figure, no question about that. He's like a movie director in a movie, and the horse and the riders are the main actor. They're all backstage, and the vet is part of the backstage. But the contribution is fundamental because, first of all, equine sport medicine is growing a lot. It's bringing in a lot of news and a lot of ideas that we can apply. If the relationship between the vet and the trainer is strong, it's a winning formula for a very simple reason. I used to say that the horse, first of all, you have to consider him as an athlete. So it's like the sum of many complements and addition, But mainly what we focus on from the veterinary point of view is the biomechanic and the metabolism, the physiology. This for the trainer is coming from experience, mainly. For the vet, this should come, at least, from experience, a scientific knowledge. If you can combine the two of them, the formula is winning in my experience.
And you've been involved, did you say you've been involved with the endurance side of things as well in your career? How did you find the differences between the two disciplines in terms of the endurance people and the actual racing itself?
So why you want me to start a big fight now during the conference? There are some points in conjunction, but we make a clear line between probably the Middle East and the rest of the world. Endurance sport is changing. We can find now a lot of points in common with flat racing. The way we train, the way we support the horses. Even unfortunately, some of the injuries are common. But this is something that will take us very far from the topic of the discussion today.
We'll leave that there, perhaps, then. And in terms of sort of pre-race and sort of post-race as well, your role in terms of checking horses, or what exactly, obviously you have to do certain checks, but what else would you also do?
Yeah, normally, a vet, it's a good relationship with a trainer. You have the double role, before the race and after the race. Before the race, you try to do as much as you can to get the horse ready with the trainer from the veterinary point of view. After the train, and this is particularly important in the Middle East, where our racing season is short. So we need to concentrate in what the other countries do in 1 year, in 6 months. So we request to the horse, we stress the horses quite a lot. So after the race, our job is to try to get them fit again and support their metabolic system to try to get ready as soon as possible to get the next race.
I want to bring in the other vet to sit next down to you now, Dr. Nahyan Alami, who obviously from Morocco here, originally involved with the endurance racing, and also I believe you said you did work for the National Stud of Morocco as well at one stage.
First of all, let me just thank fully Sheikh Mansoor bin Zayed for this fantastic opportunity that gather all these wonderful people around so we can speak and share our experiences and knowledge about that. And thanks also for Lara to invite me to be a part of this panel. What you mentioned was the very early beginning of my career, and I probably forgot most of it, but yes, I started as a vet for the National Stud of Arabian horses in Bosnia. We were very much into the breeding in all its forms, from fresh semen, artificial insemination, natural coverage, and everything else. But most of my experience I've earned in sport medicine, basically on the endurance field and the flat racing, especially Arabian horses. Mm-hmm. So I would be very pleased to share my experience about the management of the Arabian horse in racing and in sport, if it can be of any help, because it is a very important part of the champion making. We are definitely in the backstage of the whole operation, but it is not negligible. It's definitely a complicated process to make a champion, and the veterinary part of it is quite important. So if there is any opportunity to be asked for such exchange of information, I will be very glad.
And with regards to you do now, you're involved with endurance racing. You've been in Abu Dhabi for the last sort of 18 years. As you said, you were involved with the purebred Arabians before that. How did you find the differences between horses susceptible to injury? Did you find that the endurance horses were more susceptible to it than the flat horses, or not?
Oh, definitely. We are talking about two different populations of horses, and about two different sports. The Arabian horse in the flat race industry, it's a horse that starts its sport career by the age of 3 as a racer. I'm not even talking about the broken age, which starts much earlier than that. And he's almost done by the age of 8 to 10. The endurance horse, by this time, is still learning how to be a horse. We start qualifying the horses by the age of 5. We start putting them in races by the age of 6, and in national and international championships by the age of 8. And this is a completely different, because the anatomical structure of the endurance horse is completely different. It's a mature horse that took its time to grow up resistance against the tremendous effort that is made by the training and the racing. Automatically, the injuries, the panel of injuries is absolutely different, because it's we are not doing the same job. An endurance horse, for instance, just to put everybody on the picture, to be able to run a 120 kilometer, and I'm speaking about a qualified horse, he should spend at least 600 to 800 kilometers in training. And this is not an easy job. During those miles, you accumulate a lot of micro-traumas that will lead your horse to a major injury that will be definitively the reason of that horse of being out of the competition for a moment or definitely. So it's two different approaches. It's like day and night. We cannot manage the race horse the same way we do the endurance. The endurance stays, in my opinion, at the most extreme part of any equestrian sport, and the injuries there are tremendous. And we deal with those injuries differently than with the other sports.
And with regards to the changes in veterinary treatments over the last sort of 20, 25 years, how more advanced are they now to what they used to be?
There are. In the very early time, I mean, well, the 90s and early 2000s, we were pretty much aggressive in treatments. Everything was to be dealt with by injectable therapies. So we were relying on too much of chemicals to suppress the pain, to reduce the inflammation. Nowadays, we thanks to the technologies that are very advanced, we can use biological treatments. We can use even corrective showing in order to correct the biomechanics of the horses. So many things have been, how can I say, have been taken from the human medicine field to the vet, like the extracorporeal shockwave therapies and all those therapies that are very useful for the horses and allows us to work with very much ease, without a lot of side effects, and with respecting the MCP, the medication control program as well. So
interesting. And Stefano, would you answer that question as well? How, because obviously you've been involved for the same sort of time period-ish in terms of how you found it vary and how the advancements have come on.
Yeah, sure. There's been a huge development of the way we approach the horses. I mean, now, besides what is training, what about the treatment, vets are taking much more care about prevention, which is a basic point that we need to understand. Treatment is something related to the daily practice, is fine. And then here we should, unfortunately, differentiate the big stable that can afford a resident vet, they can be in touch daily with the horse, and people that cannot afford the resident vet, so they use the practitioner. But the development to the treatment is normal. Like he said, we are taking a lot from the sport. Yeah. All the big involvement are coming from human sports, and then I apply to equine sport medicine. But I told you, what I think is mainly changing now, we are taking care much more about prevention. When you talk about supplements, nutrition, the way we approach the horse, this is changing a lot. This, to me, is the main difference between before and now.
Okay. Obviously, we've established there the very important role that the vets play to proceedings. I'm going to bring in the Moroccan gentleman at the far end now, Mr. Zakari Semlali. Welcome. Obviously, you've been an owner and breeder here in Morocco. Obviously, we're going to see the new track opening in a few days' time. You've been an owner breeder here for 5 years now, purely with the purebred Arabians. First of all, what got you interested with regards to the purebred Arabian horse here in this country?
Bon, déjà, bonjour à tout le monde. Je trouve que c'est très sérieux votre réunion. Moi, je suis impressionné. Donc, moi, je suis avocat de formation et donc je viens du monde du football. J'ai dirigé le plus grand club africain, Raja de Casablanca, et depuis 5 ans, j'ai acheté des chevaux. On a une écurie, on a un élevage, et sincèrement, je rejoins aujourd'hui ce que disent les experts, c'est qu'il n'y a aucune différence entre les athlètes de haut niveau et les chevaux, tant au niveau de la préparation. Dans le football, ça a été la même chose. Dans l'athlétisme, c'est exactement la même chose. Aujourd'hui, pour parler un peu de l'expérience marocaine, je vois dans le public des gens qui sont mes aînés dans l'élevage au Maroc et dans la course, que je salue et qui seraient plus à même de parler de ça. Mais au Maroc, on est en train d'évoluer vers le top niveau. Et pour arriver à ce top niveau, comme on a fait dans d'autres disciplines, il y a bien sûr toutes les composantes partant de l'élevage à l'entraînement, à l'alimentation, la médecine sportive, le suivi. C'est des athlètes qu'on prépare. Et pour ça, il faut ne pas rater, ne pas avoir tous les maillons de la chaîne qui sont en bonne position et bien solides pour arriver au top niveau mondial. Et je pense que, vu les efforts qui sont faits aujourd'hui Donc je vais saluer mes amis éleveurs et propriétaires d'écuries parce que ce n'est pas tous les jours facile. Ils font de gros efforts, de gros investissements. Pour l'instant, ce sont des investissements qui se font à long terme et c'est pour ça qu'il faut saluer ces gens. Nous avons également la Sorek marocaine qui fait de gros efforts et c'est pour ça qu'il faut saluer toutes ces personnes parce que en 5 ans, d'ailleurs il y a beaucoup de personnes qui me l'ont dit ici et tout au long de la semaine et même l'année dernière, c'est que le niveau des courses au Maroc est en train de monter à une vitesse très encourageante et pour arriver, comme je dis, à gagner des groupes, que ce soit en France ou dans d'autres pays, il nous reste une marche à passer. Et cette marche, elle viendra par l'optimisation de tous les éléments. Préparation physique, médecine sportive, alimentation. C'est pour ça que aujourd'hui, en termes d'infrastructure au Maroc, on est en train de faire des efforts. Il y a aujourd'hui pratiquement 7 hippodromes, mais il y a encore beaucoup à faire. C'est pour ça que je ne vais pas que jeter des fleurs. Dire aussi que ensemble, je dis bien ensemble, c'est-à-dire éleveurs, propriétaires de courses, entraîneurs, vétérinaires, sociétés de courses, c'est ensemble qu'on pourra faire passer ce gap. Et aujourd'hui, et la semaine dernière, j'ai été heureux de savoir que des chevaux marocains ont été vendus qui partiront vers les Émirats. Donc c'est ce pourquoi on travaille, c'est que notre travail soit reconnu. Et moi, j'ai aucun souci. On l'a fait dans d'autres domaines, dans d'autres disciplines sportives. Et il n'y a pas de raison. Les pédigrés sont là. On a d'excellents pédigrés. Le Maroc achète depuis pratiquement une dizaine d'années des pédigrés, surtout en France. À un moment où les pédigrés, enfin où les poulinaires n'étaient pas trop chers. Et aujourd'hui, on commence à avoir les résultats. Mais il y a énormément de choses à faire. De toutes les manières, je crois qu'on ne peut pas arriver à toucher le top mondial sans pas passer par certaines étapes. Mais je suis sûr que dans les 3 ans à venir, vous aurez des chevaux marocains qui iront gagner à Saint-Cloud ou à Longchamp, j'en suis persuadé. Voilà.
We've seen Moroccan horses, thoroughbreds. There's a horse called Billabong who came over and won at certainly won at Kempton, the UK. And I think he won in a listed contest in France as well. And Jean-Isaac Marmora were probably one of the better examples with the purebred Arabians from horses in this country that have gone elsewhere and won big races. Regards to the racing, the big racing, you have a big meeting here in November, obviously, which attracted quite a few international runners last year, I believe. I think Thomas Forsey and Madame Bernard had winners here. But in terms of the overall popularity of the racing over here, you're getting more and more interest from runners coming from elsewhere.
Alors, ce qui est marrant, c'est que là, j'ai enlevé le traducteur. Vous ne parlez pas français, je ne parle pas anglais, vous ne parlez pas arabe. Donc ça va, on va être avancé. Mais toujours est-il, c'est... de quoi il parlait déjà?
Well,
ouais. Yeah. Non, je l'ai mis, mais il ne marche pas. D'accord, ça marche. Voilà, il faut...
Sorry.
Il ne marche pas, pas.
I was asking you about the big international meeting that you have here every November, where obviously they have races for the thoroughbreds and the Arabians, and this year I think quite a few of the main races are won by international runners. So it just shows in terms of how far the Morocco races are coming, it's seeing more and more interest from runners from other countries.
Je sais pas la traduction. Mais en deux mots, c'est pas... Ah, en deux mots, vous me dites en 2 mots, qu'est-ce qu'il a dit, c'est tout. Oh, comment? Ah, au Maroc. Ah, super, d'accord. Mais c'est bon, Asdin, c'est gentil d'avoir traduit.
It's going to look embarrassing when I ask the next question in French. So.
Donc, pour ce que je disais tout à l'heure, c'est que il y a l'effort qui est fait bien sûr par les organisations internationales et puis par la SOREC pour élever le niveau. Les courses en novembre ont été une vitrine, mais il y a d'autres courses au Maroc. D'ailleurs, les amis entraîneurs français et autres qui sont venus ont vu la différence. Mais comme je dis, il n'y a pas de solution miracle. Le jour où on aura tout ce qui fait un cheval de course de haut niveau, toutes les composantes, on va y arriver. Parce que le plus important, à mon avis, c'est déjà d'avoir des bons pédigrés. Ensuite, l'alimentation, le suivi médical, l'entraînement. Aujourd'hui, les infrastructures sont en train d'être faites. Et il n'y a pas de raison. Il n'y a pas de raison. Le climat, de toute façon, le climat au Maroc, c'est un climat pour le pur sang rap. Et voilà.
Yeah, I was reading an article about that. It was written a couple of years ago, but there was the gentleman from Surrey was interviewed and said it is the perfect sort of place around here to be breeding horses. And we thought about the racing in Morocco, thought about the racing in Oman and America. We're going to introduce Francis Motabana, who is the president of Toulouse Racecourse. I'm going to try and ask this question in French. I got this translated, but slower. Well, I'm going to ask this question in French anyway, Laura, so we'll see how we go. So, I get paid to talk quickly, unfortunately. But I want to bring in Francis now. Francis, vous êtes président de la Société sportive de course de Toulouse depuis 2014. J'ai lu un article sur vous où j'ai découvert votre passion pour les courses d'élevage. Quelle importance ont pour vous les courses de pure sang arabes sur votre hippodrome? And the problem is I'm going to have to listen to the translation because I haven't got a clue what you're going to be saying.
Thank you for your question. Oui, bonjour à tous d'abord. Merci à Sheikh Zayed et à notre ami Lara pour leur soutien aux courses de chevaux arabes en France et particulièrement à l'hippodrome de Toulouse dont je suis effectivement le président. Je siège également au comité de France Gallo ainsi qu'au conseil d'administration de la Fédération nationale des courses hippiques. 84 courses de chevaux arabes se courent en France, dont un quart, 20 courses, à Toulouse. Toulouse, vous le savez, dans le sud-ouest de la France, compris dans une ligne centrale entre le Massif central et les Pyrénées, et bénéficie d'un climat méditerranéen, dirons-nous, qui facilite l'élevage des chevaux arabes. Pourquoi tant de chevaux arabes dans le sud-ouest de la France? C'est une raison d'abord historique. Ce pays a été occupé de très longues années d'abord par les Visigoths, puis par les Romains, puis par les Arabes, puis par les Phéniciens, enfin par énormément de peuples de la Méditerranée qui ont laissé là pas mal de leurs chevaux au moment de l'abandon de leur conquête. Cet élevage a été également renforcé par le retour d'Égypte de Napoléon, de Bonaparte plus exactement, qui a, lorsqu'il a démonté sa cavalerie, laissé pas mal de ses juments et de ses étalons à Rodez, qui est situé exactement entre le Massif central et les Pyrénées, dans l'Aveyron, à Pompadour, qui est en Corrèze, et aux haras nationaux de Tarbes et de Pau, qui sont au pied des Pyrénées, Toulouse se trouvant exactement à équidistance de ces quatre lieux d'élevage. En fait, il y avait quasiment une jument dans chaque ferme du sud-ouest de la France, une jument arabe, et les haras nationaux français ont réussi, par l'apport du sang des meilleurs étalons, à fixer un élevage qui s'est révélé très compétitif par la suite dans le monde entier. Nos relations et notre savoir-faire ont été exportés très habilement par de brillants courtiers français qui sont vos amis ainsi que les miens. Je citerai notre ami Jean-Pierre de Roubaix, bien sûr, Jean-Pierre de Gastet, Gérard Larieux, Martial Boisseuil, qui est une vedette dans les Émirats, et d'autres que j'oublie certainement, ils me pardonneront. Bien sûr, d'énormes efforts ont été également accomplis par l'AFAC, l'Association française de l'arabe de course, dont le président Yves Plantin est parmi nous. Et ainsi donc, on a pu développer un élevage aujourd'hui de haut niveau international. Sachez que cet amour du cheval arabe dans le sud-ouest de la France nous ouvre au reste du monde et je suis personnellement demandeur pour l'hippodrome de Toulouse de davantage de courses de chevaux arabes. Je suis prêt à accueillir de nouvelles compétitions car je crois que la sélection résulte de la compétition et l'élevage ne peut s'améliorer que par la compétition. Donc nous sommes prêts à vous accueillir, nous ouvrons nos portes en grand, venez nombreux, venez courir chez nous, vous y serez reçus, pas comme chez vous. Malheureusement, nous n'avons pas votre savoir-faire. Mais si nous apprenons votre hospitalité, vous apprendrez la qualité de nos chevaux arabes.
I've got some more French for you now. Obviously, we've been lucky enough to go to your race course a couple of years ago with the conference, and I believe they're doing some renovation work to the infrastructure now. But another question I've written for François. Votre hippodrome est celui qui bâge le plus de cours pour son en France, 20 au total et 27, notamment le plus de cours pour 3 ans dans la première liste de la saison pour cette catégorie d'âge au mois de juin. En quoi est-ce important pour vous d'avoir autant de courses pour 3 ans à votre hippodrome?
Bien. Je vous remercie de cette magnifique question dont je n'ai pas eu la traduction, mais je vais quand même essayer de vous répondre. Bien. Toulouse aujourd'hui se situe au 3e niveau national. Donc nous sommes le 3e hippodrome de France en matière de nombre de réunions. Nous accueillons 48 réunions sur l'année et nous nous situons au premier rang dans l'organisation des courses de chevaux arabes. Pourquoi? Pour les raisons historiques que je vous ai expliquées tout à l'heure et surtout pour la qualité de nos pistes qui nous permettent de recevoir des courses de catégorie supérieure. La piste de Toulouse se prête à l'organisation de courses de groupe ainsi que de listed et les chevaux qui s'expriment et gagnent à Toulouse vont gagner en suivant à Saint-Cloud, à Chantilly et ailleurs dans le monde. Vous en avez l'exemple tous les ans. Les meilleurs chevaux des pays du Golfe viennent passer la saison de course en France, ils sont hébergés sur place et ils gagnent des courses qu'on leur donne à gagner tout simplement. Ils sont capables, tout à fait capables de les gagner. Et mon grand espoir, c'est pour ça que je fais un appel aux pays du Maghreb en particulier, mon grand espoir est que leur niveau puisse atteindre un jour le niveau international. Et c'est pour cette raison que je leur ouvre les portes. C'est pour cette raison que nous allons créer des courses pour eux s'ils nous les demandent. Et j'ai répondu à une question que je n'avais pas compris.
Yeah. I've just got one more question I'll ask it in English this time, I think. You host a Breeders' Challenge, big finals at the end of your season in October. And I will be slower, don't worry. You host the Breeders' Challenge final at your racecourse at the end of the season in October. Tell us a little bit about that in terms of the criteria to race in that race and how important it is for the French breeders, those particular races. There's 2 3-year-old races and a couple of races for older horses on that day in October.
Bien, comme la traduction ne m'est toujours pas parvenue, je vais prendre une autre feuille et choisir ma réponse.
Il y a un peu un souci avec la traduction.
Bien, Lara, très bien. D'abord, vous dire ma satisfaction de faire partie de cette belle aventure qui est le festival qui est organisé donc avec les courses du Sheikh Zayed et surtout de Shira Fatima. Donc nous avons 2 courses au mois d'avril pour le compte d'Abu Dhabi, qui est le prix de Carthage, qui est une course de groupe donc pour chevaux arabes, et le prix des cavalières, qui est la course qui accueille les cavalières internationales. Au mois d'octobre, nous avons incluse dans le programme de la Breeders' Cup, du Breeders' Cup Challenge, une course qui est réservée aux chevaux arabes et qui est sponsorisée par Abu Dhabi. Nous sommes d'accord. Une autre question, s'il vous plaît.
We'll leave that there, I think. Halal, I want to talk to you a bit more about the racing in the UAE. Obviously, we had a little chat about how you train your horses and your best horses a little bit earlier on. The different bloodlines, we mentioned this a little bit earlier on. How do we find the dynamics of different bloodlines has had an effect on the Arabian racing in the Gulf in terms of distances that the horses race on? Like at Al Ain racecourse, they have quite a lot of, they have the Al Ain Marathon, they have lots of longer distance races. It's important to keep the characteristics, I think, perhaps, of the original sort of bloodlines, if you like, and obviously they are bred a little bit more for stamina. It's important to keep those races available to horses and to those bloodlines as well.
نعم أعتقد مش متأكد إني فهمت السؤال بس هل كان سؤالك هو كيف هي السباقات في الإمارات من ناحية المسافات؟
Okay, I'll ask the question again. With regards to the racing in the UAE, there's lots of races, long distance races.
Yes.
It's important to have those, let's put it that way, isn't it?
Yes. I think yes. Some horses, as you know, they love to be in the long distance. So the owners in UAE, they ask these things. And as you know, our leaders there, they give whatever we want, whatever we ask. They try to do the best for us. And they put that races in Al Ain Marathon, because we ask that, we need it.
Yeah. And in a way, I suppose, as I say, it's important to retain the original sort of characteristics of the Premium Arabian, and in terms of the distance of the races. We've seen in a lot of countries the races do get shorter and shorter, but like you say, it's important to keep those factors in the UAE and, well, all over really. We'll move on to Simon again. I thought we can.
Again, please. ماراثون ايه جاوبت على هذا السؤال، كان السؤال الاول هذا جاوبت على هالسؤال. انا رايي من سباقات ممتازه وتلبي رغبه الجمهور، لان هذا طلب من الجمهور يعني، وتلبي رغبه المدربين والملاك، فانا مؤيد لهذه السباقات.
Okay, we got there in the end. I'm going to learn Arabic and French for next year, Laura, don't worry, properly. And Simon, we were talking again about the American races earlier, but in terms of how you went through training from thoroughbreds to back to the Arabians, it's as well saying that Bill Smith taught me, you tell the thoroughbred, you ask an Arabian, and that's how do you incorporate that into the training that you do?
I think I was lucky because although I've only been racing Arabians for a year, I got the chance to pre-train them for 6 or 7 months. So it gave me an opportunity to really learn about the horse. You know, I wasn't instantly trying to get a horse ready for a race. I was breaking them, legging them up, and getting them going. Regarding the training for short distances, long distances, you know, basically I train them very, very similar to what I do with the thoroughbred horses in the past. Obviously, each horse is different,
it's different,
and
individual, yeah.
Certain horses need complete different training from the others. But for the most part, we just gallop them regularly a mile and a quarter, a mile and 3/8, and you know, depending on the individual, we breeze them once every 10 days, and some of them don't need to breeze as often as that once they're fit. And again, back to the individual, it all changes. Personally, you know, everybody thinks that in America there's a lot of speed, but I do find that the horses have a lot of stamina. Most of our horses have a lot of stamina. I think we do tend to race quite often over 5.5 furlongs and 6 furlongs. but a lot of the time it doesn't suit all the horses that are racing them. And usually those kind of races would use maybe for a horse having its first couple of starts before sending it a further distance to gain experience. But most of the horses I actually train, and I think most of the horses in general, are stamina horses that we have.
And as I say, you've been based in France and Italy. Obviously, the facilities there would have been slightly different to what you do in America.
Yes.
And obviously, those horses are going to be running on turf perhaps most of the time as well. Again, are there any different things that you would do now that you're basically it's all dirt racing, isn't it?
Exactly. Unfortunately, we don't have hardly any turf racing at all. And so, every now and again, you will find an individual that's crying out to race on the turf. His action is so much better on the turf, because we do train on the turf as well in the morning. But unfortunately, we don't have an opportunity to race them on the turf. But also there are certain...
Is that because tracks don't want you to race on their turf, or is it...
Well, again, the problem is with racing on the turf in America, I'm sure you've all seen it, it's always on the inside of the dirt course.
Yeah.
Very tight. So if we get a lot of rain, we just tear up the courses. So they're very protective of it, unfortunately.
Mohammed, we'll talk about the Omani racing again a little bit more now. You were telling me outside with regards to the breeding and how it's going in Oman. Some people are offering free sort of nominations now for some of the better stones that you have to, again, just to encourage to get the horse population even bigger and bigger.
This really, I would like to thank all the owner in Oman, as this is really fantastic what they're doing and really helping each other according to the experience, or exchanging the experience, and even though giving a free covering for their stallions, which is horses standing as stallions. That helped a lot for Omani breeder, young Omani breeders, rather than going looking for the same bloodlines, which is the bloodlines that are in Oman. So it's really helping a lot in supporting the young breeder to come up with a better quality of horses and less expenses.
So we've just got over 20 minutes left. I should imagine with quite a these guys on here, I can see Khalid's got his hand up wanting to ask a question already. We've got the mics. So Khalid can ask a question. I'm not sure it's going to be directed to, but he's been trying to catch my eye for a few moments now, so it's obviously something important. Have we got the mics for the... Yeah. So he's been waving at me for a couple of minutes, so... It's for Khalid, just sat on the front row down here. And if anybody else has got a question, just be ready. So there's I'm sure there'll be plenty for all the trainers and the vets.
I will talk in Arabic because the question is for Mr. Hilal. أخ هلال أبارك لك على النتائج الطيبة، وأنت بصراحة شرفت الإمارات بنتائجك الجيدة، وبالفعل أنك اجتهدت ووصلت لهذا المركز. أنا ما يارس أمدح فيك، نتائجك تشهد لك بالمستوى اللي وصلت فيه، وما شاء الله واستمر. سؤالي لك، بما أني أنا أحد المربين الصغار في دولة الإمارات، شو المطلوب من المربي قبل ما يرسل الحصان أو فرس لك بعمر 3 سنوات؟ شو المطلوب منه؟ هل مجرد بس يأدب هذا الحصان ويرسل لك، أو تحتاج شيء كمدة أطول، أو تحتاج شيء منه أو من المربين أن قبل ما يرسلون لك؟ لأن هذا على ما أظن مهم بتقليل إصابة الخيل. إحنا عندنا الموسم جدا قليل، وإذا واحد يرسل لك الحصان أو الفرس قبل شهرين بالموسم، أظن ما بتكون في مصلحة المالك ولا مصلحة الحصان. شو رأيك في هذا الموضوع، وشو تنصح المولدين؟ شكرا.
أشكرك أخ خالد النابودة، طبعا هو من كبار المنتجين في العالم، لكن هذا تواضع منه، وهذه شهادة أنا أفتخر فيها من أستاذ كبير. الله يسلمكم. طبعا أي مدرب، مش أنا عن نفسي، أنا طبعا لا مجرد واحد ما بين عمالقة المدربين في الإمارات، لكن اللي بتكلم عن نفسي، إذا أنا بيجيني حصان مثلا في فترة الصيف التجهيز للموسم، فغالبا أخ خالد عشان أكون صريح بنسبة 99% أقارن المالك، مين هو المالك. فإذا كان المالك شخص مقتدر فأنا متأكد يعني بنسبة 99.9 من 10 أن الحصان هذا اللي راح يوصلني كامل، والكامل الله، ومؤسس صحيح وبنيته صحيحة وتركيبته ممتازة ونسله ممتاز. هذه النقطة الأولى. النقطة الثانية مثلا المنتج أو المالك المتواضع، المشاكل اللي كانت تواجهنا دائما كمدربين أن لما يجيك الحصان، لما استلم الحصان أنا مثلا عمر 3 سنوات، ما أعرف أنا الحصان هذا لما أشوفه هل أنا أعالجه ولا أغذيه ولا أدربه ولا شو أسوي فيه بالضبط. فهذه مشاكل تواجه بعض المدربين، بعض الملاك لما يرسلون خيلهم للمدربين. أنا أطلب منه ينعطى الحصان فترة الصيف، فترة راحة وتغذية صحيحة وبيئة صحيحة، من ناحية مثلا التكييف، من ناحية العناية، من ناحية هذه الأمور، بحيث أن الحصان لما يوصل للمدرب يكون على أقل ما فيها أن الحصان جاهز للتمرين، وليس أن أنا أخذ عليه شهرين تغذية وعلاجات لحد ما أقدر أني أنا أدربه. فهذا المطلوب فقط، لا غير. أخ خالد، أتمنى أن أكون وصلت. شكرا.
It's an interesting topic you brought up there with regards to when horses should go into training. With regards to, I want to ask the vets about this now as well, because obviously, again, we'll say every individual horse is different. But from your guys' point of view, what would be the sort of the best stage for horses to go into pre-training, if you like, before they go into maybe a racing yard, perhaps?
Okay, it's a very interesting point indeed. I would like just to draw the attention to both breeders and trainers that the work on a racing horse starts at the pregnancy time.
Yeah.
We start feeding the mares differently in order to have a better quality fetus, so better quality foal. Then once the foal is there, we don't wait till it's 6 months old to have a look on his feet. We can start trimming those feet and preparing the next athlete to be. Plus the feeding, plus the behavioral part of it. Only a good horse can be a successful horse. A crazy one can never do anything. So we should work on all levels from the very early time. The point is, most of the biggest breeders have their own vets and farriers and trainers. And that's why they are successful and they are big stables, because the whole operations goes together from the very early time, from the beginning till when we have a champion to be or a champion horse confirmed. For the small stables with or private owners or few horses owners, they should be aware of this before putting their mares into program for having a racer later on. They should already think about having a good vet to look to send their horses to, a farrier, start asking about what this mare should be fed, what we should avoid as a mistake, so we can have the best product and put all the best chances to the side of the horse. That would later make the trainer successful as well. The trainer can do nothing with an average horse or below average. He can just keep it going, But if you want to have a good horse, you've got to start with a good pedigree. You've got to start with a good management. It's a management at the origin. We don't make the champions by luck. There's no room for luck in this sport. It's all planning, hard work, and a bit of luck later, probably.
Yeah. And Stefano, I can see you were ready to answer that as well.
No. I mean, my point is, let's say that we assume that the breeders know what to do, his job, okay? We're talking about a horse ready to get into training. Me, personally, I'm a fan of an early pre-training of the horses, for the very simple reason that it's scientifically proven. If you start early in a proper way, I'm talking about pre-training, not training, you can consolidate the muscle mass, the skeleton, you can increase the physiology and the metabolism of the horse. Now, we come to the point that this must be done by someone that knows what to do. What I mean, a break-in and pre-training center is not necessarily a top training center. They're two different competitions. So if, let's say I'm a breeder, well, I am, but this is something different, okay? And I'm breeding an Arabian horse, and I'm expecting this horse to eat the racetrack in March in Europe or April. how can I expect a horse to be ready to come from the paddock and send to the pre-training or training in November and give the trainer 4 months to get my horse ready? It's an athlete. It's crazy. So now, and this maybe we'll discuss tomorrow about rules or regulation, but if I'm expecting my horse to train, to be ready to compete in March or April, I would start much earlier than November. I would think about August, July, with handling the horse properly. Let's say, I said before, let's assume the breeder knows what to do. So I don't want to take even a point to the way the horse was raised and bred. That's not my point. But when it comes to the racing age, performance age, to me, the best thing to do, if I'm a breeder, at the time of the 2 years old in June, I'm talking about the Arabians, I start working on my horse.
And yeah, I was going to talk about that because there was a study done, funny enough, in the UK, and it's most of us would, well, I would suggest that sometimes horses aren't mature enough to go into training with things like that, and probably people would agree, but in fairness, the opposite is actually true, because when they go into the pre-training, like you said, at that early age, they're able to get the muscles and the bone density and things that they need, rather than let them do it sort of naturally, if you like, at a later stage. The earlier they actually start utilising those muscles, it makes them stronger and it makes them less susceptible to injury later on in life.
Yeah, we come to a controversial point of view. You know, some people are not in favor of pre-training. No? I don't want to go into commercial or political reasons. And some trainers love it. I'm talking about Arabian, not forget Arabian.
Yes, yeah.
So some trainers, they ask you directly, I would prefer you to send your horse to this pre-training center because he has a trust in the person working there. Okay, and most of the time this must be the job done in a cooperation between the trainer and the pre-training center. This is my point of view. Some trainers are excellent in breaking in the horses and bring them over. No question about that. But either this way, I wouldn't expect my horse to be there in November and then be ready in March. You know, that it's a matter of time. So to me, it's very important for the trainer, for the pre-trainer. You can call it whatever you want it. If it's the same person, two different people. But however, the horse needs to start exercise early. Because we are talking about, it's the same in human yes. sports. Before, we were reaching the let's say, professional sport when we were 18, 19, 20. Now, when we are 20 years old, we are old for some sports. We start 14, 16. So it is the same for the horses. The evolution of the sport, we like it or not. So, from my point of view, I advise the horse to get into exercise. I'm not talking about full training, into exercise, to start to have an influence of his metabolic system on the skeleton, on the muscle mass, on the tendons, and then get him ready gradually to get ready to run and perform at the highest level. This is my point of view.
And so, Halal, is that something you would agree with, Halal? Obviously, you've got plenty of horses. It's obviously a popular... Plenty of people in agreement. Would you agree with most of that? Obviously, you're a trainer, so it's slightly different. How would you prefer to do it? Obviously, you've got plenty of horses yourself, so...
أنا بربط النقطة هذه بسؤال خالد قبل شوي. هي المعادلة هي نفسها. يعني احنا بتكلم عن موسم الإمارات، يعني الموسم جدا قصير عندنا. فإذا الحصان ما جاني أصلا شبه مؤسس وبطريقة صحيحة، فأنا راح ياخذ معاي وقت كثير في تجهيزه. فمثل ما أنت عارف، يعني احنا نبلش عندنا الموسم في شهر 10 وينتهي في شهر 11 وينتهي في آخر شهر 3. فإذا جاني في شهر مثلا جولاي نفترض الحصان هذا، وجاني بصورة يعني مش جاهز الحصان، لا صحيا ولا من هذا القبيل، فأنا أكيد أني راح أتأخر وراح يروح عليه الموسم، أو أني أشارك في مشاركات جدا بسيطة في نهاية الموسم. فهذه نقطة نفس الشيء، يعني تنحسب نفس الشرحي السابق عن نفس الموضوع، أن موسم الإمارات موسم جدا قصير. المفروض أن الحصان يوصل للمدرب حصان جاهز للتمرين.
That's something that we've discussed before, and obviously we'll maybe get onto that. But yes, there was plenty of other questions.
Thank you.
Mohammed Ramadan in there as well. Next.
My name is Khalil. I'm from Al Wathba Stables from Abu Dhabi. My question is for Mr. Simon. Do you really think that the Arabian race horses benefit from the use of Lasix and Bute in the US? And the second question is, as a trainer in the US, would you support a decision by the US racing authorities to ban these substances in races over there?
Absolutely. I'm part of the drug-free American bandwagon that's going on right now. Like I said before, if somebody was to send me a horse to train that had previously bled in a race, I'd be a fool not to take that into account when I first training the horse. So basically, our goal, and you can take them off the medication, no problem. I feel like we have to, if we were to give a horse Bute, we have to give it 24 hours before. And I honestly don't see a whole lot of point in giving a horse Bute 24 hours before to reduce a little bit of inflammation in the horse's legs when it can cause a sourness in the stomach, problem to the stomach. But it's a harsh drug on a horse's stomach. So I would love to see no drugs at all everywhere. Yeah.
Gentleman over there.
Thank you. I wanted to say about the training that there is a problem we have not spoken about. That's the training centers and the private trainers. In our countries, usually the biggest studs have their own trainers. And to develop the owners, private owners, to develop the small breeders, it is quite necessary to have private training centers with private trainers. It is very important because we see in our country that many people who can be owner of race horses cannot do it because there is not enough private centers to do it. And it's a very important point to develop our racing in our countries.
Mohammed Ramadan had his hand up. I think if we could get a mic to Mohammed just in the middle there. Mohammed's a very successful trainer in the UAE.
السلام عليكم. كل سنة وانتم طيبين وعقبال كل سنة كده إن شاء الله. سؤال لهلال. هلال طبعا نتائجك معروفة والحمد لله ونتمنى لك التوفيق بصفة دائمة إن شاء الله. إيه رأيك إيه في موضوع الخيول الميدن الثلاث سنوات؟ المسافة 1000 وال1200 تصلح لها ولا لما تكون طويلة تكون أفضل؟ ليه؟ المهر ما يكون صغير 3 سنين وتضغطه في 1000 متر بيحصل له مشاكل. نتمنى التوضيح. شكرا جزيلا.
في أشياء يمكن أنتم ما تعرفونها عن محمد رمضان. هو اللي علمني على الفروسية وقاعد يسألني أسئلة، هو أستاذي يعتبر. محمد رمضان من كثير من الأبطال اللي تشوفهم في الإمارات المدربين متأسسين على إيد الأستاذ محمد رمضان، من ضمنهم أنا وماجد الجهوري وكذا شخص يعني. ردا على سؤاله، أعتقد أن المسافات القصيرة للخيول العربية الصغيرة ما تخدمها أبدا أنها تطور أدائها في المستقبل. بالعكس أننا أعتقد أنها راح تسبب لها مشاكل. أستاذ محمد تسبب لها مشاكل بسبب أن الضغط سبرنتر حصان ما يعني حصان جدا صغير. أنا أساسا في تصوري المفروض الحصان العربي ما يشارك على عمر 3 سنوات، فما بالك أنه هو يشارك ومش مكتمل ينضغط في هذه المسافة القصيرة. أعتقد أنه ما راح تخدمه أبدا في المستقبل أنه يطور من نفسه أكثر. بالعكس أشوف أن المسافات الخيول الصغيرة مفروض تكون مسافات وسط، وفي نهاية الموسم ممكن السباقات الكلاسيكية أو شيء تأخذها لمسافة شوي أطول، أساس هذا الحصان يقدر يتطور ويروح لمستويات أفضل مثلا في الموسم اللي بعده.
Also, Mohammed, the best celebration I've ever seen after winning a race last year. It was absolutely fantastic. Got caught on camera. Got two gentlemen down here.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الدكتور حمد البادي مالك خيل. أشكر أول السيد صاحب سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد على هذه المؤتمر وشكر موصول للسيدة لارا سوايا. سؤالي بداية أنا بحب أقول مسيو موتوبان. J'ai donné un bon exemple de l'hippodrome de Toulouse. J'habite à Toulouse, donc voilà, je trouve qu'elle est bien organisée à Toulouse, l'hippodrome. Et on a souffert d'absence de l'audience de course dans tout le monde, surtout course de pur sang arabe. Et je trouve à Toulouse très, très, très bien organisée, très, pour tout le monde. Les enfants, les familles, le tout là-bas, ils trouvaient des choses à faire. C'est pas juste pour arriver à voir le course, mais quand même pour faire des activités d'autres que le course de cheval. سؤالي الثاني, my second question is for all the people there. We are shocked this year because many of the trainers has been found that the substance of cobalt was suspended and prohibited. It comes, firstly, it was started in America, and after that it goes all over the world. And such a substance like cobalt is very important. It comes in many of the drugs. And how does the trainer interact when there is a substance like cobalt or vitamin important or a substance that comes in most of the medications of the veterinary? How do you interact if you use this drugs for many years and suddenly they told you they have stopped this medications or they have prevented? How do you do what you do with this information or with these rules or regulations? Thank you.
But ask the trainers that halal. Did you?
Maybe my answer will not like many, but I will answer honestly. Many horses coming from, for example, from US. There is legally you can use some in the races, but when this horse is going outside of USA to race outside, they need same things, so they don't success. About this point, I think that in the end the machine manufactured by human, that doping machine, the testable, it's manufactured by human, and that human, he knows exactly what is inside, what is I will speak in Arabic. I prefer to be very clear. هذه المختبرات فحص الخيول هي من صنع البشر، والبشر هذول عارفين هذه الأجهزة تمسك أي مادة وشو المادة اللي ما تطلع معهم في الفحص. فأنا أقول لك صدقا في السوق السوداء هناك بعض الأشخاص اللي هم ما بقول لك ممكن هم المصنعين لهذه الأجهزة، ولكن عندهم اطلاع عن هذه الأجهزة، هم اللي يبيعون الدراجز هذه للمدربين، وعندهم جارانتي ان هذه المواد ما تطلع في هذه الأجهزة، لأنه هو عارف هذا الجهاز شو يطلع من المواد، شو اللي ما يطلعه، فربحه من ما وراء ذلك. يعني يصنع بعض الأجهزة اللي عارف مختبرات هذه ما تطلع فيها الربح المادي، يعني لا أكثر. فمستحيل مهما وضعت أنت قوانين ولوائح وكذا، الشخص اللي عنده اطلاع بهذه العلاجات ما راح أبدا تقدر أنك تمسكه، والمتضرر في النهاية الحصان نفسه، حصان السباق هذا، لأن أصلا أساسا إذا أنا مسكت هذا الحصان وعندي مادة محظورة، أنا أعرف أنها محظورة، ولكن تعدل في performance الحصان هذا وما تطلع في الفحص، الحصان هذا مستواه الطبيعي هانديكاب، ولكن الحصان فاز في سباقات كبيرة. يعني أنت المنتج ينظر لأن هذا الحصان جروب وينر راح يروح ينتج منه، بس هو في الحقيقة الحصان هذا مش حصان، مش جروب، هو أخذ مركز لا يستحقه. فالعملية راح ترجع عكسية في المستقبل، أن في نظر الناس هذا الحصان بطل وفاز بسباقات كبيرة، ولكن هو ما فاز فعلا بسبب أنه هو حصان بطل، فاز بسبب الدراجز.
I think, spoken from now, that's something we would all agree with. Again, there's two gentlemen there with the mics. We are running out of time, so if we could be quick. Khalid, yeah.
I just want to add in Mr. Muhammad Ramadan point when he said about the short distance that might the horse, especially the young horse, can break down. There is many reasons to break the horses that they can break down. Maybe the feed is not good, or maybe the trainer also is not good. But what I will add in what he said, that maybe we need a little bit longer distance, because most of the classic races we have in UAE where we aiming to win Kahela, we need sort of those distance plus what we have. As we are a breeder, it's not easy for us, for somebody just sitting in a chair to say tomorrow I will change the distance. It doesn't work like this because it's a long process. We are talking about 4 years. Today I am buying a mares with short distance, or maybe using a stallion that has short distance or producing short distance, and I don't want to see myself in the middle that they change the distance. Okay, so this is very important for any breeder, because the breeder is the factory who produce those horses in different sector. So I just will add more in Mr. Muhammad Ramadan that we need, plus more distance for those classic races. Thank you.
Yes, if you want to add on, yes.
I will add something, Khalid. Hello? I will add something.
Please, yeah.
Same things about Muhammad Ramadan and Khalid. Also, the short season, it made this problems for the yearling. One of the problems is the short season. As I said, as I mentioned before, we breed in UAE above 500 horse every year. Okay, how many maidens for them? They have, let's say, hundreds. Okay, still 400, still in maiden. Add this 400 to the other 500 for the next season, or 600. I'm give you a small number when I say 500. There is bigger number. So still, that trainer, he should pass, this horse should pass maiden first of all to go handicap, maybe listed, maybe whatever. But when he will pass the maiden? After 3 years or 4 years, it's age. I already breed him to see him in the race course 4 years, and then he should wait another 3 years to see him winner. It's something. Somebody should do something in UAE, especially to make it longer season, add more races for the maiden horses, pure breed Arabian or local breed. It's just same.
And I'm sure that's something that you will all talk about in the workshop, because I know that you're very passionate about that. I think we're out of time, are we, Tomo?
I tell you what, I thought that was absolutely outstanding. The points that you all made. I know there are stacks more questions, but we have to continue because we have a timetable. We're going to take a short break. Can we give a big round of applause to our outstanding top table? Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Wonderful. Gary, outstanding. We would like now the official photo. We now have 30 minutes before the next section starts, okay? Sir, I promise we have to keep going on time. Otherwise, okay. Please come and join us. We'll be back in 27 minutes, okay? So let's now go and join